So, what if you could turn your own personal growth into a game? I mean, a game you could actually win. Today, we're jumping into this really fascinating framework called Thresholdism, which does exactly that. It's a whole system for development, but with a pretty powerful twist.
Seriously, just think about this for a second. What if you could stop just kind of hoping you're growing and instead treat it like a game? With clear rules, a character you get to build, and a real way to level up. That is exactly what we are breaking down today.
All right, so let's get into the rules of this game. At its very core, this system is all about taking that invisible, often confusing process of personal growth and making it something you can actually see, track, and, most importantly, consciously direct. Now, the source material calls this a MARG, which stands for a Meta Alternate Reality Game. Don't let the name throw you off, though. The idea is actually pretty simple. It's a game you play right in the middle of your real life. And the whole point is to take your unconscious, your implicit development, and make it something you are consciously and explicitly in charge of. Okay, so every great game needs a character, right? Well, in this system, your character isn't some knight or wizard, it's you. And your character sheet, the thing that tracks all your stats and abilities, is called the bag. Let's take a closer look at what that really means. The bag is basically your personal inventory. Just like a backpack in a video game, it's where you keep all your tools, your special items, your learned abilities. It is the complete map of everything you are capable of in this very moment. And your bag is defined by 3 core stats, or what the system calls edges: your knowledge, your character, and your skills. Think of them like strength, dexterity, and intelligence. These are the fundamental areas where all of your abilities live. And it's not just a random list. These 3 areas are deeply connected. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Each of those edges is split into 2 complementary sides. So, for instance, your knowledge isn't just conceptual, like reading a book about public speaking. It's also your factual lived experience, like actually giving the speech. Your character is both how you automatically behave and your ability to step back and analyze why you act that way. And your skills are both what you can practically do, say coding in Python, and what you can creatively invent with that code. So, how do you actually build this thing? Well, there's a pretty simple tutorial for it. First, you just make 6 lists, one for each of those subcategories we just looked at. Then, for each list, you arrange your abilities from the most basic stuff to your most advanced. And finally, and this is the key part, you identify the sweet spots. These are those magical places where the 2 sides of an edge come together. Okay, character created, bag inventoried. Now what? How do you actually play a turn? Well, the game has a core loop, a sequence of actions you take over and over to move forward and, level up. The first tool in your kit is the brain. You can think of this as your reflection power-up. After you do something, the brain function is what lets you look back, see the patterns in what just happened, and actually learn from it. It's basically how you gain experience points. And your second tool is the sword. This is your action button. But you're not just swinging it randomly. You're specifically applying the capabilities from your most advanced, most integrated sweet spots. This is how you use your best self to actually engage with the world. And this lays out the whole turn perfectly. You start by setting an intention. Then you notice where you are right now. You inventory your bag to see what tools you have. Then you apply your best abilities using the sword. Afterwards, use your brain to recognize what you learned from that experience, which in turn updates and evolves your bag for the next round. It's this constant cycle: action, reflection, growth. So that brings us to maybe the most important part of this whole game. What does it actually mean to win? Well, the answer lies in mastering those sweet spots we keep talking about. So here's the crucial idea. A sweet spot isn't just a list of your best stuff. It's the point where things get integrated. Let's go back to our public speaking example. It's where the conceptual knowledge from the book you read merges with the factual experience of actually giving a speech. According to this framework, that point of integration is where entirely new capabilities, like being able to improvise a compelling story on stage, are born. And this slide just shows the difference so clearly. On the left, you've got stagnation. That's just collecting more facts or more skills in separate buckets. But on the right, that's real growth. That's taking those separate things and integrating them to create something that literally did not exist before. The source material really nails it with this quote. The goal is not to just accumulate more stuff. The goal is to integrate what's separate, because that's the process, that's the engine through which novelty emerges. That is your development. So how do you win? You win by leveling up your sweet spots. The victory condition isn't about reaching some final boss or finishing the game. It's about being able to look back over time and see that your points of integration, your sweet spots, have become more sophisticated, more powerful, and way more complex. That's the proof that you're actually developing.
And when you start to play the game this way, intentionally, turn after turn, something really amazing starts to happen. You begin to uncover the ultimate prize of the whole game, what's called your storyline.
The storyline is the grand narrative of your growth. It's the coherent theme that connects all your actions, all your leveling up, all your new abilities. By playing the game consciously, you start to see the bigger picture, the entire arc of your own developmental journey. And honestly, that's the ultimate payoff. It lets you look back on your journey and see how it all connects, what the source calls retrospective coherence. Instead of your life feeling like just a random series of events, your past starts to look like a meaningful story. You can see how one skill led to the next and how your experiences built on each other in a way that just makes sense. This process is happening right now, whether you're paying attention to it or not. Your story is being written. So the only real question this framework leaves us with is, are you content to just be a character in that story, or are you ready to pick up the pen and become its author?